In the desert's crucible, where the sun bleeds red, stands a spectral sovereign whom the light does dread. Albino and ageless, a phantom in the night, he utters axioms that atrophy the soul's light. I am the arbiter, the verdict, the abyss. In my tribunal, no plea can dismiss. War is my doctrine, anarchy my decree. In the ballet of Bedlam, I sow the seed. He delineates the detritus of dynasties past, then dissipates their quintessence to the void's vast. For sapience is supremacy, yet supremacy sours, and in his clutch all inception devours. I am the arbiter, the verdict, the abyss. In my tribunal, no plea can dismiss. War is my doctrine, anarchy my decree. In the ballet of Bedlam, I sow the seed. To the kid, he proffers a pact, gelid and grim. You are my disciple in this chronicle dim. Together we'll navigate the netherworld's name, and etch mankind's requiem on history's grave. In the saloon shimmer, he seizes the stage. A fiddle's lament, like a banshee's rage. He capers unclad, a macabre display, a portent of perdition, where night consumes day. He persists against temporality's tide, a bastion of belligerence where tempests reside. His mirth, a symphony of sorrow's strain, reverberates through the veins of the spirit's domain. Fight on, be arbiter, the verdict, the abyss. In my tribunal, no plea can dismiss. When the cosmos collapses and stars are but dust.
Of Hali's misty shore, where the towers of Carcosa soar. A play is read, a forbidden lore that opens up a darkened door. The king in yellow, robed in fright, his tattered cloak conceals the night. With a pallid mask he brings his might to claim the souls who seek his light. Casilda weeps for what she's seen, the horrors that the pages glean. In dreams she walks where none have been, in the city king is keen. knocks upon the gate. His presence seals the reader's fate. No mask he wears, it's far too late, for in his eyes the madness waits. So heed this warning, friend of mine. Avoid the book, the yellow side. For once you cross that fateful line, the king in yellow you'll enshrine.
Accountability.
Echoes in the hole, they call my name. Shadows dancing, crooked flame. Memories twist like rusted wire. Every door hides something dire. Static screams. Truth is stitched between the seams. Blood runs cold, the walls decay. The past won't die, it just obeys. Echoes in the hall, they beg me back. Chained to guilt, the world turns black. Keys won't save, the light won't last. I'm just a ghost who haunts the past. I see your eyes, were they ever real? Time peels back like crumbling steel. Every breath is just pretend. This house remembers how it ends. Echoes in the hall, no place to run. The trauma wakes when day is done. One last door, one final scream. What if none of this was ever a dream? Whispers crawl beneath the skin. Truth is wrong where lies begin. Eyes that bloom behind the veil. Dreams decay and voices wail. Beneath the black it waits for me. 1,000 eyes beneath the sea. Madness hums in every breath. A lullaby from living death. behind the glass. Time runs backward, shadows pass. Skies collapse and oceans rise. Something ancient cracks the skies. Beneath the black it waits for me, calling from eternity. No God, no light, no final plea, only claws and memory. Stars align, the gates unlock. Flesh turns cold and minds are shocked. The void will sing, the stars will fall, and I will answer when it calls. Beneath the black I hear the sound of writhing things beneath the ground. The end begins with just one name, but I forgot it when it came.
I wake to cold steel and darkness on an abandoned train, alone. Heart pounding after panic's attack, stranded in the unknown. Neon lights flicker on blood-splattered walls. Reality frays at the seam. Fleshy tendrils crawl where there once were doors. Is this a fever dream? Shadows twitch in the corners. Whispers echo like a distant scream. Each step down the empty aisle feels like walking through someone else's dream. Lost in the gloom, on the edge of doom, I refuse to let it consume me. This purgatory of guilt won't be my doom. I fight the fate it looms for me. Nightmares surround, but I carry a voice calling me through the black. I won't surrender to the darkness inside. I'll find my way back. Off the rails, I stagger into corridors where the world has come undone. A hospital ward stretches empty and rotten, its hall stained with what I've done. In the flickering gloom of an abandoned precinct, I hear chains rattle and clang. Sirens long silent still ring in my ears from guilt's relentless pang. Through a crumbling schoolyard under a blood-red sky, innocence lies in decay. Even mannequin faces seem to watch and judge me as I pray not to fade away. Then Jill appears in the haze, eyes burning with fury to make me atone. Her rage ignites these halls around us, reflecting fires I once had sown. Silent Freya stands with phone in hand, an electronic voice plead in despair. Her tears can't fall in this lifeless place, yet her regret hangs in the air. And Carlos stalks these derelict streets, a wicked grin beneath his badge of pride. He revels in this chaos, feeding on fear, hunting the hope we hold inside. Strangers in hell, we cross paths and clash, each one's torment fan in the flame. Lost souls entwined in the gloom's design, each of us shackled by shame. Lost in the gloom, on the edge of doom, I won't let it make me a monster. This infernal maze of trauma and loss will not be my story's conqueror. Faced with your memory guiding me on, I defy the terror and pain. No, I won't crumble, I'll break these walls and see daylight again. I peer into cracked mirrors and finally see the truth in my eyes. Every demon I've fought in this nightmare is my own fear in disguise. The gloom was born of my sins, built from secrets I tried to forget. Its corridors writhe with my guilt, every horror a form of my debt. If this world is my making, then I hold the key to its door. I must face what I've buried to heal what was broken before. Forgive me, I whisper to those I've lost and to the man I became. As the darkness trembles around me, I ignite one last flame. Lost in the gloom, escaping its doom, I feel it crumble behind me. This hell fortress of sorrow no longer sealed my doom. It finally has released me. Your voice in the dark kept pulling me through, and now I know what is true. I survived the surreal abyss of my mind, and I'm coming home to you. Shadows crawl along the cracks, cement flickering, neon bleeds in your eyes. Broken dolls with shattered innocence, dancing corridors where nightmare lies. A throat of rust and iron gates, groans of silence laced with dread. Heartbeat pounding, steps of barren, fall of footprints made in crimson red. Can you feel the static in the air? Cold breath drifting down your spine. Every whisper secrets you can't bear echoes in this poison shrine. Welcome to the Crimson Hall, where angels scream and angels fall. Blood-soaked dreams and phantom calls, but we're all trapped inside these walls. Feel the nightmare's lullaby beneath the moon that bleeds the sky. In the Crimson Hall you'll learn to cry till every terror's dignified. Silver mirrors cracked with broken hymns reflect the sins you try to hide. Leather wings of morning ravens hover where the lost reside. Candles gutter in the crawling mist, their wax and tears fall to stone. Every secret, every whispered wish becomes a ghost that you'll atone. Can you taste the poison on your tongue as memories betray your mind? Every promise ever left unsung drifts regret like battered time. Welcome to the Crimson Hall, where angels scream and angels fall. Blood-soaked dreams and phantom calls, we're all trapped inside these walls. Feel the nightmare's lullaby beneath the moon that bleeds the sky.
Hello, hello, hello. There I am. Okay. Ha. All right, I show up eventually. Boy. This is a I know I have this happy music playing, but like really this is not a happy subject. Whenever I start these things, obviously I think of things to say, but like really there's not much you can really say about this particular subject. Other than like it's tragedy. It's literally a tragedy, and it should not be happening. So today we have more from Angry Cops and the unsubscribed podcast. They released new evidence, and I'm gonna check it out. As you know, I'm keeping up on this because I feel like I can share this, and maybe a few guys can get on it a little bit more than me. And by watching these with you, hopefully you can see these videos too and make your own, or at least speak out, or just be like, hey, to your colleagues when you go to work, what's up? Just like spread this message, because this needs to be talked about. And there's not much more I can say about this other than it's messed up and it should not be happening in our society. And yet here we are. Again, this is happening in our society. And what it has to do with is the Buffalo school system is covering up child abuse and child neglect and just different cases of these things. And it's like, why are they covering up these issues? And apparently, I haven't watched any of this video particularly, this one. I have not watched it, but apparently there's an abuse case against a news network. So I'm really interested in seeing this with you guys too. So without further rambling from me, let's switch to the video. Oh yeah. All right. That's actually perfect. All right, let's start this off.
Accountability? Buffalo public school system?
Sounds like justice is being obstructed.
They're just clipping couple second segments out.
Wow,
So,
I wonder what that's like.
speaking of, you guys want to sue one of the news channels?
Oh, get ready for
I built an entire case to sue one of the news channels.
Nick unfolds the binder of doom.
You get what you deserve.
Okay, so as you can see, we really have something to talk about, because I guess they have a case. And if they build a case, that's good. That's action being taken against one of these. This is a news network, but one of these corrupt school systems. And the more views that gets on this, hopefully the more we can stop these issues. Because like I said in the previous ones, and I'll say it in this one, if you believe that it's only the Buffalo school system that has this problem, you are absolutely wrong. This is a problem across the entire nation of the United States. And we all, as parents and concerned citizens and just decent people, we need to work together in order to end this issue. All right. So, without further rambling, here we go.
Say hi to Eli. He's racially ambiguous and Brandon. His hair is fabulous and donut. A dark joke disposition, and there's a fat electrician. Welcome to Unsubscribe.
Did we do the pop for this one? Do we pop the top for this one?
Yeah, for Ed.
For Ed. Oh yeah, we gotta do it for Ed.
Was it Dranch?
It's finally
He's such a piece of shit. It's Ed Dranch?
I think it's Ed Dranch.
Yeah. You, Ed.
Ed Durant.
Okay.
D-R-A. I think Dranch.
The D is silent.
Ed.
No, it's not.
On the count of Ed. 1, 2, Ed.
Ooh, do we have wine glasses?
I have no clue who Ed is, so I don't know.
Yeah, we should be classy. We should put this in
Do we have a wine
glass.
glass?
The
I should
joke
put
just
this in a
went
wine
over my
glass like
head.
the Buffalo school board member.
Is there any
That's okay, though. That makes it fancy.
That's right. Try not to burp.
It's okay. I'm on a podcast where I'm supposed to be drinking. She's in a school board meeting open to the public, drinking cranberry juice out of a wine glass that she slams and then proceeds to flip off the camera screaming, "F you bitch."
Which was fucking crazy. Like, I thought it was an exaggeration.
What? Dude, I missed so much. I wish I watched this before, because I would love to find the clip of that. Okay. Apparently. Okay.
When you sent it, that's exactly what happened.
Yep, that's exactly. And the best part, just so you know, that Buffalo School Systems is like super into like telling the truth and doing the right thing. The school board member, when she got called out on it by the other school board members, you want to know what she did?
Denied it.
She said, "That's not true, and I'm looking at pursuing legal action against that fellow school board member for slandering me."
That's crazy because just recently they said that's not true and we're thinking of pursuing legal action.
Wait,
I
that
know.
was about me though, about the thing that I said. That's
I
true.
know. And then you know what happened? The video came out. And then she apologized. And then everybody got mad and said, "You need to forgive her because she said sorry. And we can't hold adults accountable for their actions, apparently."
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Unsubscribed Podcast. I'm joined today by Eli Doubletap, Fat Electrician, our good friend Angry Cops, who has a lot to talk about, Brandon Herrera, myself, Talented Operator. Thank you so much for being here.
You missed his binder.
Nick's binder.
A special appearance.
Gigantic fucking binder.
Be the bigger bully.
Oh yeah. Language. There is some language warnings here. I can't help that they swear on this. I haven't watched this before, so I haven't sanitized it. I try not to swear. I occasionally do. I apologize for that. It's not very often that I when I get passionate about things, I do tend to react. So if that happens, I'm sorry. And if you can't handle that, I'm sorry. And also, trust me, it's not negative towards you. Don't feel bad about not watching. Just click it off now if you don't like language. Just warning. What? Why won't you play now? Why won't you play?
Today's episode, we're going to have Rich. This is going to conclude everything or get, hopefully, everything in the right direction as we, Nick unfolds the binder of doom, his 3-ring war book.
Oh, but real quick, we since we were already on it, homegirl that denied.
Yeah, editor, I'll get you the video. Go ahead and throw up the video of the Honorable Paulette Woods slamming her glass of wine, then flipping off the school board and saying, "Shut the f*** up, bitch," repeatedly. She then goes on to say, "That never happened, and I'm going to sue whoever says I did it." And then the video comes out, and she's like, "I'm sorry," on a podium. This is also, I can get you the video for this too. She's at the podium and she does her apology. Then she has her bishop come up, or like her priest or pastor, religious leader, whatever. He comes up and starts screaming at the audience and is like, "She apologized and you guys need to accept this. This is nothing more," this is their quote, "this is nothing more than the high-tech lynching."
It is unacceptable that after giving an apology to our colleagues and constituents, that you choose to do a public high-tech lynching of a black woman.
Which is a wild fucking thing to say.
Yeah.
As somebody that's read a ton of historical accounts of black war heroes who fought in World War II that literally had their fathers or uncles or brothers go through something like that, and then for you to equate that, just the unjustified, lawless killing of somebody for the color of their skin, to people being upset that you were in a school board meeting saying, "Shut the f*** up, bitch," is flipping off the camera while drinking, is fucking disgusting, and that alone should disqualify you from overseeing the education of children.
What
She's
did
still
she
on the
do?
board. She's still on the
She's
board.
still on the board.
She's a board member. She's a sitting board member.
Was she the spokesperson when everything first came out, when they had that big meeting, that initial meeting?
That was the superintendent. I forget her name. It's hyphenated.
It's hyphenated.
It's like, I don't remember her name, but it's hyphenated. Something or all.
All right.
That's f***ing absurd to me because that's just basic general accountability.
Not with Buffalo schools, it's not.
Accountability? Buffalo Public Schools.
Yeah, really.
Like, this is a high-tech
So, like,
lynching. It's like, no, this is
obviously
just
the
us
beginning, they're just talking
accusing
about
you
junk.
of something you were on camera doing.
It's just letting
Ma'am,
people
there's
roll
video
in.
footage. This is a Wendy's.
I don't know, it's disgusting behavior.
Fucking absurd.
So if you don't know about podcasting or like what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to allow a brief period in the very beginning before you actually start talking about things to allow people to roll in. And I don't follow that normally. But yeah, that's best practice. So if it seems like it's taking a little bit for them to get to it, they will. It just takes a minute.
yeah, so I guess where do you guys want to go from
Rich,
here?
give us an update on where you're starting right now. You've done like the podcast run, then now you're finally slowing down on that side. But what was the recourse, or what is everything happening now with you?
Okay, so it's been like what, 3 weeks? I think 3 full weeks. We're going into the fourth. So it started off with our initial buzz, and then I went in right away to do an interview with Channel 7. They did a 27-minute long interview, and they only put up like 3 to 4 minutes of its entirety. That was it. The news attacked me for about 3 or 4 days.
Now, High has made headlines numerous times in the past. The Attorney General's office had found High had been, quote, repeatedly discourteous and unprofessional.
This is ridiculous.
What is this?
This is crazy. I'm listening to all these guys burp and
yeah,
just
these are
be
actually
foul.
these are actually
the White Claws on the
things,
table.
you
There's
know.
alcohol involved here.
My
Where
first
are they?
thought is, okay, this
The
can't
creepy
actually
things that
be
come out of
real.
your
I don't think there's ever been another case that
sewers.
has come out like this. It's so 2025, right? It comes out.
And this is all like legitimate. Like this is actual footage. So
Podcast and
Bizarre.
And then our autistic army decided to show them they might want to reconsider coming after somebody that might be looking out for the welfare of children in the city of Buffalo, especially when we have a binder worth of information that we got just from OSINT, just from open source intelligence gathering.
Just wait until those FOIA requests start coming back.
Oh, yes. So
I hope they don't, so I can sue them, actually.
it'll be great. So Nick starts doing the FOIA requests. I start getting
I hope they
calls from
don't.
different news agencies.
all right. So the idea of somebody like hoping that they don't send them because you can sue them, that's just great. Because like, to be honest, these people deserve it. They deserve it. They deserve it. I mean, wait until you hear what they're actually doing if you haven't started this thing.
Not going on the local news anymore at all, unless it's
Because like, I know for a lot of you,
the
you're
radio
thinking
with,
like, what's the big deal?
Because he's been
This is a
shouting.
huge deal.
David Bellevia's got a radio show on WBEN.
Who's the other guy? Ben, I think, too.
Ben's on Channel 2.
Is he?
Yep. But he's been doing good. Ben T is from the Buffalo News.
Nate Benson is on Channel 2. He's doing great. And then Ben T is with Buffalo News. He's also doing great.
Yeah, Ben's been very funny to watch, even just on Twitter or X or whatever. That's been very fun.
That's the one with the autistic army. We're like, let him through. Stop. All stand to the side and
Do not touch him.
Yeah, careful. He's a hero.
they're all standing at parade rest, double saluting.
So after the first week of like this onslaught of bullshit on coming towards me and me bearing the brunt of it, and then our army pushing back and saying, wait a second, why are you doing this? We should be looking into this. You shouldn't be shooting the messenger, even though he has a fantastic mug, which you can now get at Bunker Branding.
Right.
And shirt.
Shirt.
But down the wrong pipe. So then Channel 2 special investigative reporter actually did a little bit of a deep dive and discovered that since 2021, there have been over 17,000 police calls to the city of Buffalo.
17,772.
To be exact. And about 54% of them fall under miscellaneous or information only, which is fine. If you get like a school board, or like, I don't know, like a school door was left open and it sounded the alarm, and you're like, all right, miscellaneous or alarm. It actually would go under an alarm call. Well, I stated originally that the schools were using these miscellaneous calls in order to cover up incidents of abuse on the children from either child on child or a child coming in and making a disclosure to the schools. Well, what do you know? Out of the past 4 major incidents that have gotten tons of news coverage from the city of Buffalo public school system, one of them being a stabbing or a shooting at McKinley, one of them I think was a stabbing. There was an overdose incident and something else.
The teacher,
and the kidnapping.
The teacher gave the kids THC gummies, and the alleged kidnapping that he's now getting charged for. Those all school other.
The crazy one was the one with the teacher that warned them about that door. They're like, hey, students are taking knives through this door.
The stabbing in Riverside.
Yeah, they're like, no, that's not a problem. Student gets fucking stabbed from a knife that was snuck in through that door, and then they denied it.
Oh, I have the footage, yeah. So in the footage, the teacher actually wrote up a thing, and I looked into him. He's the union rep for that school. Okay, so he wrote up a thing like, hey, I've had students bring in large knives into the school. They get them through school security because these schools have metal detectors or some screening process. They're getting them in through this door that's not locked and has a bad door.
So what they're getting at, it's not so much that it's the children bring knives in, but it's also the fact that the school tried to cover up the incidents by registering them under miscellaneous. So like when they called the police and stuff like that, they had it purposely put under miscellaneous or other calls and stuff. And I don't quite understand why like that's not the police department also, because if the police are complacent with, because like I can't imagine the school having the authority to tell the police department where to file certain things, you know? Maybe they do. I don't have a clue. But it seems weird that they're just blaming the school district, because that sounds like a police department issue too. I don't know. This is me.
And he wrote every school board member and sent it to him repeatedly for, I believe it was like 19 months that he kept pushing it.
God.
Was the reply
19 months?
He apparently in their process, you have to push it up the chain of command, and there's 3 levels to get something approved. The first level was denied, and that's just like your direct administrator. He denied it. It's like, no, it's not a problem. He appealed it and pushed it up to the school board, and the school board denied it. Then he was still pushing to have it reviewed a third time, and then it's on the superintendent. Between the second and third time, the stabbing at Riverside,
that makes more sense to me.
That he was trying to get the issue.
Just in case somebody missed that, Daniel Rupp says the school resource officer issues is what it sounds like to me, and it's probably it's a really good point. Thank you so much for pointing that out.
Fixed before it became a potentially fatal issue, and then they magically approved it on the third iteration after somebody had to get stabbed.
Which is what he complains about. He says, this is reactionary. Why are we reactionary?
He calls it, because that recording was before the stabbing, or right after, and he goes, you guys had to wait until somebody got stabbed, just like I predicted, and sure enough, somebody got stabbed, now you're going to approve it.
Yep.
Yeah,
and then
yeah, exactly.
The school board member has the balls to stand up there and be like, you never told us about this.
Oh, starts getting a screaming match with him.
Yeah.
Fuck
and like all the
you.
other teachers give him a standing ovation as he's walking away. So I'll get the editor of the video. You can go ahead and play it. It's like 2 or 3 minutes. It's crazy.
I just want to be
No way.
that all the time we spend here in this fantasy land world, when students at Riverside are getting stabbed, there's fights there every single day. 911 is called on a regular basis, and no one has even come into the school and had a meeting like this and talked to parents and talked to teachers and talked to our students and said, how can we protect? Excuse me, this is my time. This is my time,
You're going to
sir.
receive more time, but
This is my time, sir.
If you would have came to me and told me a situation about a knife, at that point, I would have called the authorities and took the proper action with the supervisor.
No, you asked me, I can refresh your memory if you want.
Mr. Hurd, the speaker has the floor.
I told you about the knife.
The speaker has the floor.
Thank you. I filed a grievance 19 months ago, and it was very detailed. In that grievance, I talked about how a student brought a knife in the side door. It's written in the grievance.
That's crazy.
To you all.
That's crazy.
Guess what? The student
19 months?
The non-student who stabbed the student in our school, guess what door they came in? That same door. And they were in the building that day, and no one even told us. The DA had to tell us on the news. We had to do our own investigation. So there's a student.
Oh, no, not at all.
Most likely a weapon in our building, and no one's sharing that with us. I'm going to say this. This district has done nothing, and I told you what's.
I live in a small town, and our school board meetings aren't that small even.
And that's exactly what it takes, because no one has lifted a finger for security at Riverside.
This is Buffalo, New York.
Dog and pony show every single time. You send in people for a week, it disappears, and then it's a disaster again. These kids and these teachers deserve better. And if you can't do the job, then all of you should have the dignity to resign and let someone else do it.
Thank you, Mr. Bruno.
Oh, wow. All right.
So we go to that where Channel 2, the investigative reporter, pulls out the stats and says, hey, wait a second, look at these numbers. these are concerning. These 4 major cases were all intentionally mislabeled as something other than what they actually were, whether it be stabbing, shooting, overdose, etc. Then, shit, I lost my train of thought. What happened after that? There was the 21 thing, and then, then that's right. Then the guy that did the attempted kidnapping of the 2 kids.
When was that?
Well, going back to the stabbing at Riverside, I believe, from what I can tell, there's been independent third-party investigations launched for the Riverside stabbing and for the shooting at McKinley in 2022. Neither of those independent third-party investigations launched by the school board have been released to the public or the Buffalo PD. Or the legal system.
Who's the third party in these situations?
Whoever they pick.
Yeah.
Right now it's open. It's any law firm can get on their website right now and apply to be the third party investigator. And I believe with the Riverside stabbing, I looked into it, and the law firm that they did then cited, assumingly they found results that they didn't like. So the law firm's like, well, this is actually attorney-client privilege, so we don't have to give this to you.
Is that their workaround, so they can just do it?
Yeah, so this is a workaround. They're gonna say, oh, we're gonna do a third party independent investigation, and then once we have the results, if we don't like them, we're gonna claim it's attorney-client privilege and never mention it to the public, and the public's going to forget about it by then.
So it doesn't require an investigation. It's just fact.
Yeah.
Is the crazy part.
So basically what the school is doing is they're using a loophole. They're weaponizing the legal system against itself. So attorney-client privilege means that, like, things that you discuss with your attorneys or lawyers can't be repeated to the courts. And unfortunately, they're using an outside third party to investigate these issues. And so the whole idea of having the investigation, they can't say that anything's wrong by saying they have a third party like investigating it, because the third party is the attorney. So no, it's not being investigated then. It's literally, that should be illegal. There should be some legal thing that they can do to stop that, because that's genius, but that's totally messed up that they do that.
Look into. It's going to take you a fucking afternoon if you're not clinically retarded.
Right. Yeah. And they had a 4.5-hour meeting the other day trying to appoint a special investigator. 4.5 hours, couldn't figure out who they were even going to have do the investigation.
Probably because they know that nobody's going to be that crooked.
Worry that they might find your firearm?
Damn, maybe the ATF is onto something. No, I never thought about that.
Introducing Stopbox.
I'm sure a lot of you guys and gals have a handgun for self-defense, as we all do. And if you do, it probably fits into one of 2 categories. It's locked up, but not within reach. Or it's just laying around where anybody could have access to it.
Well, Stopbox USA solved the problem, and they came up with the Stopbox Pro.
It's all mechanical, so you don't have to worry about it.
It's batteryless.
Ribbed for your pleasure.
What I love about this is it's TSA approved. Most gun cases, when you want to fly with a weapon, has 3 or 4 little holes. This one has 1, so you only need 1 lock, and then you do your...
Our listeners are getting 10% off if you use code UNSUB, and right now they're doing buy one, get one free.
Oh, that's a crazy deal!
That's 10% off and a free Stopbox Pro when you use code UNSUB at StopboxUSA.com.
10% and buy one, get one! They have to be operating at a horse!
One of my favorite parts about the Stopbox is that it is actually made in America.
Made in America!
Discover a better way to balance security and readiness with Stopbox.
Stopbox.
By the way, from somebody inside the schools, quote, BPS General Counsel Nate Kuzma, who works at the same firm as the former DA who opened his mouth, who's full of shit, has made an attorney-client privilege so that it could never be shared intentionally. That was the end result of that one.
So that's one thing to look out for or really stress moving forward, is not letting that happen as they hire a new one.
Yeah, well, have somebody investigate
They're
it.
intentionally not going to hire a new one. I can't prove it. I can't prove it with evidence, but I have multiple people that have all basically said, well, the superintendent's retiring in June, and she has 3 or 4 friends on the school board, and they're basically going to stall this until she gets her good retirement, and then they'll let it go to an investigation. So they're just trying to drag this out as long as possible to protect their buddy. Then they're going to drag it out as long as possible.
Who's the superintendent?
Oh, Dr. something Knight.
The one that's really upset
Yeah.
that she had to shut down her social media and ignore everybody coming to her with concerns.
And who's going to be next appointed? Because you knew who's next in line,
so the
which
next
that's
guy
something to
getting
watch out for.
appointed, I've heard from multiple sources he's not great either. I can pull up his name.
Well, he's friends in that group, so he's already conditioned for this.
Well, there's only like one male in the board, isn't there?
Dr. Tanya Williams Knight.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I got a hold of the
Wait, what?
teachers union rep. I sent him an email because one thing the news did that was really shitty is they took the one snippet where you were talking about allegedly one teacher in particular was putting kids inside of a bathroom with the lights off.
Yes.
One teacher is what we said.
Correct.
The news then portrayed it to the teachers union president, Richard Nigro, that we were saying this about all teachers.
Which we're not.
And he was upset. Obviously, like that's fair if you think that we're saying all Buffalo teachers are throwing small children in a cage, which we're not saying at all.
We were
and he's
specific
like,
on that.
you're painting everybody with a broad brush, right? But they're just clipping couple second segments out and portraying it.
On another podcast called Black Rifle Coffee Podcast, High described how some teachers and teacher aides use school bathrooms for so-called timeout rooms.
The Buffalo Public School will put children in the bathroom and turn off the lights and then put their foot against the door so the kid can't get out. Where's the timeout room? Oh, it's the bathroom. Timeout room is the bathroom? Yeah. What do you do in the timeout room? Well, my teacher and the teacher's aide, the Buffalo Public School, will put children in the bathroom.
I remember
and
this.
Turn off the lights.
Wow, I wonder what that's like.
Yeah, exactly.
That is so shitty. See, the media, once again, the media is complacent with whatever the heck the Buffalo school system is doing. They're misrepresenting everything that you're seeing on these podcasts. And that's not right. And the media should be ashamed for that. Whatever networks those are, if you get your news from them, stop getting your news from them because it's clearly skewed.
Jeez, the news doing that to two people who are trying to better the environment for people in their community? Brandon, who would know what that feels like?
That's crazy.
You know, this is why I think that media trust is at an all-time high.
Oh.
And it's a smart move on their part because right now, all the information I have hundreds of teachers that I've talked to and interviewed and everything. And they're the ones that are giving me all the information, telling me what FOIA requests to fill out. Like, they're the ones that are helping. By and large, all of these teachers are great people trying to do what's best for these kids, and they all feel that their hands are being tied behind their back. They're not allowed to do what needs to be done to keep these kids and themselves safe. And the administration...
That's right. It's the administrators. A lot of it has to do with the administrators.
...is intentionally doing it. I mean, you're 2 decades into your career at this point, and you've never been written up in 20 years.
Never. All of a sudden, instantly.
Getting called down to the administrator's office. And the odd thing about these write-ups, they weren't anything. They had no backing. It was just to intimidate me. I mean, it just got crazy. Yeah. I just pulled it up before I got on with you, and I have this document. It's like every other day we are getting called down.
This right here is textbook cover up.
To the point where my phone would ring in my classroom, and I would get sick, and I would puke. Because I would literally go to the bathroom and puke, because I was being tormented every day, and supposed to teach kids at the same time. And it makes you physically ill, because I'm not used to treating people this way. Ever. And I'll tell you what, it started then, and up until a month and a half ago, it has not stopped.
They're being intimidated, and people use this tactic to make people shut up, and it's to scare them and just talking. And if they do talk, they know that the school's going to come after them if they talk. So you best not speak about anything. And intimidation tactics are classic signs of a cover up that's much larger. So once again, they're covering up stuff. So we've already seen it, and with the media interacting with it and all that, it sounds like a lot more people are involved in this, and wouldn't be a bit surprised if the state actually had their fingers in this too.
We have not stopped retaliating against me, and it's almost gotten worse.
So what they're doing is they're coming out and making it seem like, oh, we just want to burn everything to the ground and go after these teachers. We don't. Like, the teachers are great. It's just not even all of the administration. Some members in the administration and the culture that they've created are not safe, and it doesn't allow these teachers to do their jobs.
Which is really fun that you have teachers on the inside that are essentially like with telling you what FOIA requests to file and shit.
Oh yeah,
that's basically like they're giving you the exhaust port plans on the Death Star. Like, please, for the love of God, blow this up.
Well, the scariest part to me is every single, with the exception of like one or two, and the one or two that I've talked to, the only reason they're not terrified of losing their job is because the school board has already gone after them repeatedly and tried to fire them and lost in court.
Correct. Nice.
The gentleman that we've already showed the clip of at that school board meeting, that was a union rep. I forget what instance it was, but he got into it with the Buffalo School Board over some safety stuff, and they put him on paid leave for 2 years while they tried to fire him.
What? Including other people.
Including, because he was the head of the social studies department. So not only did they put him on paid leave, they put the entire social studies department, which I believe was 5 teachers in total, on paid leave for a year, and tried to fire all of them. And by sheer coincidence, the other 2 social studies teachers of the 5 that they put on paid leave were the other 2 union reps for that school.
Almost like they're trying to union bust, which is
illegal.
Oh!
What the?
And then they ended up losing in court, saying the teacher did absolutely
that would
nothing
be union
wrong.
busting.
And the Buffalo School Board's people testifying on their behalf were found inadmissible in court, presumably because they got caught lying under oath.
About what?
I don't know exactly what. I have the court documents, and you can see that like their testimony was deemed no good.
And nothing happened because of that?
He ended up getting to keep his job.
No, but I mean, like lying under oath, there was no repercussions.
Why would there be?
It seems to be a recurring theme.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. If there is a mass layoff or they try that, understand why it's happening. It is the big cogs right now that are the issue. It's a lot of the times what happens is the big cogs at the top, you can't do anything. So they're just like, oh, replace these ones until we find team players, and then rinse, repeat until you do find team players. But right now, the goal of all this is to get rid of those fucking
That's an extremely good point.
Literally pieces of garbage.
Head wrench is a giant cog.
You know, his comments are still turned off on his Twitter.
Good.
They're going to have to be turned off for a
phone
while.
number was on his Twitter for a while.
Well, it was like his business phone number, I think.
Yeah, that was an interesting call.
You know, maybe don't attack the podcast as trying to stick up for kids, and then double down when we quote you and post the entire 1.5-minute opening of your video where you do that and go, well, it's not what I said.
It was taken out of context. I'm like, no, watch the full fucking thing.
We played more of his original opening in that video straight than they did of my entire 20-something minute interview at Channel 7.
That's why I'm not to apologize. I do not get that mindset. It's like, I wonder if I just came out and was like, hey, sorry, I messed up. How that might react.
Even if he was just like, hey, clarify, just to clarify, I think, like, you know, these are very important allegations. I didn't mean to downplay it, whatever. Like,
that's literally all you have to do. Is
My
like,
intent wasn't
take
this.
responsibility.
My intent was to talk about the thing, and I hit on this thing first. I could have saved that for a later date. And our army would have been like, hold.
Hey, Brandon. Yes, Eli? When you think of businesses that are just crushing it, bunker, unsub, what's the first thing to enter your mind?
That's easy, Eli. A good child labor law attorney. Eli, I said Shopify. What did you hear?
Actually, it was the overlooked secret behind the business.
Like I said, Shopify.
Oh. Which brings us to today's ad.
Shopify. I mean, we use Shopify
Actually,
on a daily basis.
That's
a good
right.
point,
We
too.
use Shopify for Bunker Brandon and Unsub. Those magical
those cheap
shoes we
goods
have
off
where they're
Amazon.
linked through Shopify to the mythical store.
So buying the cheap stuff off Amazon, if you guys aren't aware, a lot of the stuff is like made by like Muslims over in China. They're called Uyghurs, and a lot of them is child labor and stuff like that. And most of them are slaves. So like, hey, yeah, don't hire slave labor because slave labor is bad, and a lot of your cheap goods is made with slaves. So don't do it.
Bunker branding, and because of Shopify, they communicate.
It's like your
I mean,
mom
I'll-
and your dad
I'll
on their
support that,
anniversary night. Not yours.
Nobody does selling better than Shopify.
They are home of the #1 checkout on the planet.
With Shop Pay, which boosts your conversion up to 50%.
50%. Just like the age of all of our factory workers are 50% the age they need to be legally employed in the United States.
Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we get over at Unsubscribe or Bunker.
Sign up for your $1 per month trial period over at shopify.com/unsubpod.
Head over to shopify.com/unsubpod to upgrade your selling today.
Shopify.com/unsubpod.
All lowercase.
Speaking of, you guys want to sue one of the news channels?
Oh, get ready for this.
I built an entire case to sue one of the news channels.
I'm starting to notice that.
Were we slandered, Nick?
Well, Rich was defamed.
I was defamed.
And I can prove it. I built an entire case out for it.
Neat.
Neat.
Very exciting. So, for all the lawyers out there, this is called foreshadowing.
I'm conflicted because this news channel's been the least courteous to Rich, but they've also got the best journalist working for them. So it's kind of one of those cases where like Nate Benson works for Channel 2 WGRZ, but everybody else that writes on it that isn't Nate Benson shits on Rich to the point that it's now defamatory, and I can prove it. Okay, so in multiple articles, including YouTube videos that they put up, which I have saved, and news broadcasts that they've aired, which I have saved, and news articles that they've printed, they've all claimed that Detective Richard High is on the Brady list.
Yeah.
You know what the Brady list
Which is incorrect.
Yeah.
Guess what I have?
Well, would you like to explain what the Brady list is?
The Brady list means that you're on like the no-fly list when it comes to the district attorneys for when you go and take the stand to testify. It specifically states that you have credibility issues, which I know. I've never lied on the stand, and all of my internal affairs or complaints never has to do with my evidence collection, my time on the stand, my integrity, or lying about any sort of charges that I've put on. So I have zero credibility issues on the stand. That is my history. Yeah. But them saying that I'm on the Brady list would say that I do have credibility issues and that I cannot testify because of those issues.
It's a pretty big allegation.
I would say it's significant and would look very poorly in my career because a detective not being able to testify is significant.
That would be
very
crazy.
damaging.
And we have it right here, right? We can show the clips of them saying that right here.
Yeah, I have them.
The allegations made on the Unsubscribed podcast by Buffalo Police Detective Richard High have prompted the Buffalo School Board to seek an outside investigator. Officer High alleges the district failed to report an attempted abduction, sexual assault, child abuse, and destroyed evidence, which he discovered while working a case. Allegations that have outweighed High's status on the Brady list, which is a list of law enforcement officers whom the Erie County District Attorney's Office have found to have credibility issues.
So Channel 2 is the only one that even after it came out, they're like, oh, he's actually onto something. When all the other news channels just started referring to him as SVU veteran detective Richard High, they would still put in the article, these allegations appear to outweigh his placing on the Brady list. Like just mad they have to admit that he's doing the right thing. Mm-hmm. Well, I have the Brady list. Guess who's not fucking on it? Richard High. So claiming that somebody is so uncredible that they can't even testify in court under oath is a pretty big allegation, right?
That's a huge
the problem with
allegation.
defamation is if I was going to sue you for it, I would have to prove that it wasn't a genuine mistake and that you did it maliciously, right? So how would I be able to prove that?
Well,
that they
like
were
a history would probably be able.
Oh, like an ongoing history? Cool. What if I trained an advanced AI to go through their entire website and catalog the top 10 officers in the history of the news source that they've written articles about? And Rich is the third most reported on cop in Buffalo history out of 800 police officers, and not a single article is even remotely charitable to Rich.
Some of them don't even have to do with me, but they bring me into the article to then defame me.
Anytime they get a chance to throw him under the bus, they do it. Okay, so I can prove that he's the third most reported on cop in Buffalo's history out of 800 cops, which to me says that you've got a wild hair up your ass and you're gunning for him. Okay, so I'm able to prove that you would lie on purpose because you don't like him, right? But then what's even harder is I then have to go out and I have to prove that he's not on the Brady list, which he isn't. And then what was the other facet? I have to prove that
it wasn't a mistake.
wasn't a mistake, which, the evidence seems to imply that.
If they try to fix anything, it is Sunday, May 18th, 2025, when this comes out. I don't want them to be like, oh, look, see?
You better redact this.
Yeah, like, this is the exact date. 10
Luckily,
days, I will then enter again, again.
I have it all saved.
Okay.
We have the Wayback Machine. Fuckhead.
Yes.
I have it all saved in catalog, but like then the real problem is like, okay, so I proved it was malicious. I proved that you are lying and that was on purpose. You've got you maliciously did this to Rich. So then the problem is like, okay, well, it's just one cop, it's one detective at 800. How much is that really worth in a defamation case, right? But then you got to realize Rich is probably the most famous active serving cop in the world. Anybody think of another cop?
Like active?
A cop with multiple millions of subscribers that's recognized nationwide and globally, who built his entire online persona around accountability, doing the right thing. And then you come out and you say that he's such a piece of shit that he can't testify under oath because he lies all the time. Seems like that'd be worth a lot of money in court.
Yeah. And also that proves a financial harm to your brand.
I wish Rich would come
that was the other part.
That was the
other part is I would have to prove financial harm, which would be tricky to do unless I got like 20 to 30 people to comb through every Reddit and Facebook post that's been out since this case broke and took screenshots of hundreds of people parroting the same talking point that Rich is on the Brady list.
Oh.
Which came directly from them, from a credible news source. So now I can prove that it did harm his reputation.
Ooh.
If there's any lawyers that would like to take up this case.
Yeah, so I guess I'm saying if I were Channel 2, within like 48 hours of this video dropping, I would have a whole article apologizing to Richard High on how you guys were wrong. And when I say a whole article, I don't mean go back and change the articles. I mean, I would make a whole article titled WGRZ apologizes to SVU detective Richard High for fucking lying, or I'm going to turn over all this evidence and then go to the kitchen and grab some popcorn while I watch him sue the dog shit out of you.
Ooh.
Cheers.
Oh,
I like
this so
dude.
I like to see bad people get what they deserve.
Right. Yep.
You get what you deserve.
Well,
High's allegations have outweighed his status on the Erie County District Attorney Office's database for law enforcement officers with credibility concerns.
See, right there. Like, when you're looking at a whole news organization that's literally set against this one guy for literally reporting incidents that happened in a school system, the correct response is not to try to smear someone. It's to look into those allegations, say maybe those allegations are false, but to actually smear him and say stuff that's just not true about him. I mean, come on. You know, if they're doing that type of stuff, they don't have anything to go for, nothing at all to go on. It's great. I bet you it has been fun because, I mean, they should be trolled. I won't do it personally, but like other people to troll that news network, especially if it's your local news. Yeah, go right ahead.
Even though he's not on it and never fucking was.
Quote, Channel 2 WGRZ.
Oh my God!
Whoa! You're being
And I know, we had Heyday just going through.
Oh yeah.
That's hilarious.
I got hundreds of comments parroting their false talking point where they defamed him, and I have the screenshots of all those comments already. So, I mean, if they don't want to apologize publicly with its own article and put it up on your fucking YouTube channel and the news broadcast, then I'm just going to turn it over, and I can prove that you've written about him the third most out of 800 cops over the course of his career. Nothing's ever been charitable. You throw him under the bus every chance you can get. I can prove he's not on the Brady list, and then I can prove that I have hundreds of comments of people parroting your false talking points to discredit him as, defamation.
They won't. Channel 2 will not do that.
For the most famous cop in the world. So that reputation's worth a lot of money. Up to you guys.
I mean, those people never.
Sorry, you're a great journalist, but somebody else working at that news agency has it out to get him. I don't know if it's Ron Plants or the guy writing his scripts, but they're going to cost that place a lot of fucking money.
None of these companies, by the way, they'll never admit to doing anything wrong. Because if they admit to doing something wrong or like make an article apologizing, nobody will believe them again. And so they'll never admit fault. You know, they might make a footnote in something like 10 months after they publish something, might put a footnote on it. But like, aside from that, they never make articles apologizing to people. They'd rather just take the lawsuit and take the hit.
Unless they start eating some crow. So, see you soon. The Buffalo School Board is just creating policies where it basically ties the hands behind the backs of the teachers that are trying to do the right thing. And I have multiple teachers, multiple interviews, multiple.
I could go off for days about the news media and how uncredible the news media really is. I mean, they just aren't credible. You know, I'll just leave it at that.
I have hundreds of stories via written, but they all say the same thing. They've all attempted to do the right thing, and they've all been instructed by the school board that they're not allowed to do it. And I've asked repeatedly, and nobody knows that this is actually written down, but every single teacher has told me this without me asking. They've all told me the same thing. Buffalo school teachers are not allowed to call 911. They have to talk to an administrator, and the administrator makes that call.
Jeez, Nick. Does that ever come up in one of these stories where something happens and it could affect the health, welfare, and well-being of a child?
It sure does.
Wow.
Multiple times.
It's foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can go into the THC gummy ones. So I've interviewed multiple people on that. I've interviewed the uncle of one of the boys that took the 500 milligram edible. And he's very disappointed with the school board. How do 500 milligram edibles just wind up on the hallway floor or the locker room floor in a middle school? And then why would a teacher pick them up and give them to children? Whatever, stupid shit happens. Maybe that is happen. Maybe that did happen. That's not my overall issue with the thing. My issue is the school and their policies at the administrative level do not allow things to get addressed as quickly as they should for the safety of children. The paramedics who I've talked to and I've interviewed.
Quick, what is the age of the children? This is
11 and 12.
Okay, so you have 11 and 12. And 5 milligrams. 5 will wreck somebody that's never done it, especially when you weigh 80 pounds, 90 pounds. Now, 500 milligrams. Like, what would 50 do?
I know what 500 does to an 11-year-old because they were hospitalized with resting heart rates of 130.
You said he found it on the floor?
He allegedly found it on the floor, either in the hallway or in the locker room. And I have a picture of the THC gummies. They resembled Sour Patch Kids, but as you can see, Stony Patch covered in weed.
They've got singular cyclops eyes.
It's singular cyclops eyes that in a colored version, they're very red as if you'd been smoking weed. So, but granted, it does, if you're just taking a glance, maybe it does kind of look like Sour Patch Kids and maybe it was all an accident. Whatever, that guy should still be fired, but that's separate. My issue is when the EMTs get called, the EMTs show up, and I've talked to the EMTs. They pull up to the school and nobody will let them in. The doors are locked.
The EMT, what?
Now, if a child is overdosing on an illegal drug, I would either have somebody sitting at the curb waiting for the EMTs to show up and then immediately take them to the children, or I would have the children outside waiting and hand them off.
That's crazy.
Not what happened. Took the EMTs, I believe he said, 8 to 10 minutes to find someone to let them into the building. And
so I actually know about this. I know about medical stuff. If you're overdosing on something, especially somebody that young, overdosing on things, you can go into a lot of different problems. You can have a stroke from overdosing. You can have all kinds of different things. Every second counts. The fact that they had to wait more than a minute to get inside the building, the fact that they had to even wait to get inside the building is horrible and should not happen ever when you're dealing with a medical situation in a child. Especially one where you're worried that they might be overdosing, because those kids literally, or a kid or whatever, could have died during that situation. And that's totally, I mean, even beyond dying. So like, let's say they're having an issue and you can't administer the right chemicals. I'll say that for safety issues, but you can't administer the right chemicals to get them down off of it, right? They could have brain injury, they can have physical problems, they can have neurological issues. There's a whole host of issues that they can have, and it's can be permanent. Like they're for lack of a better word, retarded, because of something that could have been prevented completely. That's horrible.
Nobody would even come to the doors. It was actually the security guard from the parking lot that came in, and the security guard's like, hey, what's going on? He had no idea. He had not been briefed on the issue. So it took them somewhere between 15 to 20 minutes from arriving on the scene to get to the children that were overdosing on an illegal drug. And then once they got in there, the principal was apparently just didn't really give a shit. The school resource officer that was there comes up and is arguing with the EMTs, like, well, do they really have to go to the hospital? They look fine.
Wow.
And the EMT is like, yes, they're going to the hospital. Serious? So that was an issue. And then a patrol officer showed up on the call as well. And the SRO and the patrol officer got into like an argument about why that guy shouldn't have even shown up, and the SRO had it under control.
Meanwhile, you said this kid has a resting heart rate of
130, correct. He's having the worst day of his life. He just had 500 milligram edible.
Just so we reference, if it's 50 per gummy, so it's a 500 in a little bag.
The two of them ate an entire bag.
Jesus.
So yeah, 250 per, and again, like 5 would wreck somebody at that. Yeah. That level, 50, 250 if they split it.
So they ate the entire bag because it was candy. And so this is all going on, and I believe it was the principal or the assistant principal. It was an administrator that had the bag. They had to go into the administrator's office and be like, hey, I'm trying to figure out how much drugs these kids had under your supervision. Where's it at? And she had it sitting underneath her big like metal tumbler, and the EMT said like she was trying to hide it. And when he directly asked her for it, she like reluctantly gives it to him. And he investigates, sees that it's 500 milligrams in the bag. Okay, now he knows. He hands it back to her, takes the kid to the hospital. Comes back, and he's, taking notes. He wants to see the bag again to either take the bag or take a picture of it. We don't know where the bag went.
Oh.
So the evidence disappeared.
Wait a second. I feel like the destruction, intentional or unintentional, of evidence is like an ongoing theme with the City of Buffalo school system, whether it be video evidence or physical evidence like this bag.
Richard, is one of crime?
Fucking bag
Destruction
of
of evidence? I
gummies?
believe there's something.
Why the hell do you
right
even...
now? Because I believe New York State Penal Code has that.
All right. So, yeah, it's bad that the kids got into a bag of gummies and like that. But why isn't anyone asking there's fucking gummies at school? Like, why do you have that at school? Are you drugged up while you're teaching? What the heck is up with that? Like, that should be like a big issue too. Like, where did they get the bag of gummies? Did they get it from home? Like, did they bring it in? Or did they get it from a freaking teacher? That's horrible.
Sounds like justice is being obstructed.
Now, so like that's pretty bad, but like it's an indicator of the overall problem, right? So they're just not working with first responders in the way that they should. And all the teachers have told me this. They're not allowed to call 911. They have to do everything through the administration. And I interviewed another teacher who wanted to remain anonymous, so we're going to play that clip here in a second. But has a story, and I believe I've shown you guys a video, so we don't have to watch it. We'll just play it for the audience.
When I taught at another school in the city, the music teacher had a student that passed out cold. And this was probably like a 6th grader. She ran over to my room, the teacher, and she said, so-and-so just passed out on the floor. I can't wake him up. Come help. I went over there, I'm like, we got to call the police. So we called the rule is you have to call an administrator before you call police. You have to. So we call the administrator, and the administrator says, you are not calling anybody. We're going to call the mother.
Oh my God.
And have her come over. And me and this teacher are like, what are you talking about? Like, we can't wake the kid up. Like, we need an ambulance here now. No. The principal came down to our room and stood there while this kid is passed out. Passed out. No ambulance, nothing. Do you think that's crazy? Mom finally shows up. Gosh, I don't even remember how it ended.
Oh my gosh.
I know Mom was motherfucking everybody. And shame on me. I was younger back then. But there's always this idea, like there's always this, you're always scared of like, you're going to get insulted, literally.
There's no point in hiding your face, by the
ruling the administrators have, but there's something that they do that you are scared shitless.
Yeah, she just identified herself.
Do you remember what ended up happening with the girl? Like, why she passed out? I mean, did she get to the hospital eventually?
She did get to, mom brought her to the hospital, yeah. And I remember she was back in the building the following week. So.
I mean, she was out of school for days after this.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously they probably didn't double back to let you know what the medical issue was. But regardless, I mean, that girl could have been ODing on drugs, and it took, 30 minutes, 45 minutes to get mom, drive there from work, pick her up, drive her to the hospital rather than just calling the ambulance?
Yeah, it was probably a good, I would say it was about 20 minutes. I think it was about 20 minutes. It was awful. Awful. Like, we could not wake this student up.
So, I mean, it took this kid an hour to get to the hospital when she lost consciousness and was unresponsive. And she didn't end up making it back to school till the following week.
What I just don't understand is the incentive. Is it just whether it's anti-cop sentiments or just trying to make the school seem better than it is, or like it's functioning better than it is? Why do they feel like they just have?
That's crazy.
What is their goal?
I truly believe, on my side, just the overview, stranger to it, haven't deep diving, it is, we need to look good. Look how good. Yeah, we had 17,000 calls, but half of those were just what were they called?
School other.
Yeah, school other, the information only.
It's small stuff. See, we're really
miscellaneous.
safe. Yeah, miscellaneous.
That's
we're
so
really
crazy.
safe. You're good to go, funding, however that works, and you just keep doing that.
Yeah, and then that shithead lawyer that works for the school from Lipschitz Mathis or whatever the fuck that law firm is comes on the news and he's like actually the sheer volume of calls that they've contacted the police clearly shows that they're working great with law enforcement. I'm going to conveniently ignore the fact that 54% of the calls were listed as school other. So then we call them out and that doesn't work. So then they get fucking John J. Flynn, I believe his name is, former district attorney.
His middle name is Jizz.
And the news brings him on, and he fucking is like, well, actually, I was a district attorney, and I promise you that, the whole time, I realized that the dude was only getting charged with misdemeanors for assault and child endangerment, and then Rich came out and said that he was kidnapping, and then the DA, after having a bunch of backlash, magically was like, we are going to charge this guy with felony kidnapping. But, that had nothing to do with the podcast, and I would know because I'm a former DA. What the fucking news didn't tell you is Flynn also works for Lipschitz Mathis or whatever the fuck that law firm is that is directly working for the school board. The entire thing's bullshit and rigged.
So the only people that are talking out or speaking out in their favor are people who have a financial incentive to do so.
Correct. Financial and legal obligation to do so.
Just clarifying.
Isn't that neat? Isn't it cool how the news left that part out, that he's working for the same law firm that protects all the administrators? It's crazy the news would do that.
It's funny because Flynn also said that he didn't have any incidents where the school was covering anything up during his tenure at DA at the DA's office as the DA. But you know what, Nick?
It took me all of about 15 minutes to find out that not only was that a fucking lie, you can actually still go on change.org or change.gov and sign a petition to this day demanding that he step down as DA because he refused to prosecute childhood sex crimes appropriately. That's the entire reason they wanted him to step down.
How many thousands of signatures does it have already?
It had 3,500 before I put it out to the internet. There's probably hundreds more because people went and also signed it just from mine, but it was 3,500 people legitimately from Buffalo that would have signed this thing demanding that he step down for not properly addressing childhood sex crimes.
Do you have like a single instance of those, just one of the stories?
So a lot of the story that it goes back to is in years prior when he was the DA, the Archdiocese, the Catholic Church operating in the area of Dubuque, had a priest or multiple priests that had been accused of childhood sex crimes, whatever, and he apparently did not do his due diligence in investigating and punishing those sex crimes. And I think the Archdiocese of Dubuque is like in a stage of bankruptcy right now because they've been sued so many times. But that being sued is a civil lawsuit.
Right.
not a criminal lawsuit. So that means that the parents, allegedly, if these kids were assaulted, were having to go into the legal system and file and sue the church individually, and there was no criminal prosecution. And that's why they wanted this guy to step down, is because he was not doing his due diligence in punishing childhood sex crimes. So for him to come out and be like, yeah, I would have never done this as DA, it's bullshit. You did it.
Mm-hmm. Also, one of the specific things that I brought up happened during his tenure. One of the stories where there was saw at his school pool, and the school principal, this happened 2 years ago while he was DA, and the school principal failed to not declare it, report it. And then a year later, the child that was the victim of it disclosed it to somebody else. Then it became an investigation, but guess what happens after a year? All physical evidence is gone. The video is erased and like recorded over because it's been a year. They only save it for like, let's say even 180 days. That's gone.
Yeah.
And that school principal wrote the DA and said, hey, I'm not going to come in for the subpoena that your office sent me because I did my own investigation and I don't really care. Sent a letter stating why they're going to refuse to respond to the subpoena while he was the district attorney.
I have a question. I do history videos on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to apply at Buffalo schools,
okay, this is absolutely ridiculous. The number of people, and there's checks and balances, and it just seems like all the checks and balances don't care about. Well, no, what it is everyone wants to stay clean. Everyone wants to say, "Oh, nothing bad's happening," and it's like, if something bad's happening underneath your watch, it's not your fault that something bad's happening. You're just supposed to take care of it and make sure it doesn't happen again and exact justice. Your job is to stop it when it starts. And if you stopped it when it started, people would be like, you're awesome. Hooray. Let's praise you. Instead, they're like, let's hide it. Why the frick are you hiding it? This makes no sense unless they're involved in it. And that's what I really worry about, is that we have administrators and school teachers and DAs, district attorneys, that are involved in child trafficking and stuff like that, or child abuse. And it just seems like that sexploitation is a thing that they're okay with. That scares the shit out of me.
to be a history teacher with no degree in education or history, do you think that I would get fired?
No, that doesn't make any sense.
Why is that?
Well, because you don't have
You're
a teaching
completely
degree.
Oh, so I don't have the proper training to be a teacher, yet they don't have any training to be an investigative detective, yet they can host their own investigations, determine that no crimes were conducted, and then not inform law enforcement even though they're a mandatory reporter. That's what you're telling me.
I mean, that's exactly what I would get out of this story. That also happened during his tenure as DA, which goes against what he was talking about when he went on the news to open his big, fat, stupid mouth.
They're like a slam poetry duet.
Cody, look! What? Not at me. Look at Brandon.
What? What?
Yeah, that's right, Cody. Those are Stealth 700s by Turtle Beach.
Do you mean the ones that have an 80-hour battery life with quick charge?
Cody, they're also noise canceling. Watch. Brandon, put on your headphones.
The thing I hate about Texas is these they're horrible. But the food is really good. That's the one thing I have to say about them.
I don't know what you said, but I'm sure I agree with it.
I wish I had those headphones for that.
When I was a kid, I always wanted Turtle Beaches. These were like the be-all, end-all. Like, this is what all the cool kids had. But I was broke, and so now it's cool that I finally have a set.
When I was a kid,
Turtle Beaches.
The Stealth 700s have the first cross-play dual wireless transmitter system,
they
which
existed
means
when I
you
was
can
a kid.
seamlessly switch between your PC console at the click of a button.
That's a mouthful.
I'll show you a mouthful. Turtle Beach doesn't just have amazing headsets. They have every gaming accessory you could ever want in high quality with prices that don't break the bank.
Head over to turtlebeach.com and use code UNSUB to get 10% off your entire
There you go, guys.
Buy a
Support
beach
Unsub.
turtle.
Kill them.
After your purchase, they're going to ask you where you heard about their amazing products. Please tell them Unsubscribe sent you.
Get the ultimate immersive gaming experience with Turtle Beach today.
The Stealth 700s give me an edge and escape from Tarkov. I can hear footsteps way better.
And if we know Cody loves one thing, it's edging.
Head over to turtlebeach.com. We love you.
Buy a hammer, go to the beach, find a turtle.
Wasn't there also allegedly another potential sex crime that was conducted, and when the law enforcement officer showed up to investigate it, all the administration and teachers had gone home for the day, so he couldn't do his job.
Yes, there's 2 new stories that have come out.
When was it? Okay, when was this?
Since our original.
This has been since. This is while they're
Since?
now facing intense scrutiny. This is what they're still up to.
We are like B-Day plus 22 or something right now.
So I'm going to tell you, I think one that's more telling, that is a better picture, because it's all on body cam. So I was made aware of an incident that happened at a Buffalo school that happened, and I don't know the call number yet. So you can't even ask me about it. All I have is information from individuals that were there. School, police, EMT, not going to say who. I'm saying that information was given to me by a couple different sources. And the information is that a sexual assault had occurred at the school, at some school. I haven't confirmed it yet, but I know that it happened because of the people that are telling me about it. A sexual assault happened at a school in the city of Buffalo. Officers responded to that school. The officers asked the staff for information, and let me rephrase that. It was assault. It was just a normal assault. It was a 2 students had beaten up a janitor or somebody of that effect within the school. So the janitor was basically stomped pretty bad.
These like high school age kids?
I believe so.
Okay.
The janitor is stomped pretty bad and beaten up by these kids. Jumped. The officers go to the school. They talk to the principal and say, "Hey, this is serious. We need the video of it. And also, we need to know these kids' names." And the school principal said, "No, not giving you anything. Not giving you the kids' names." And they're like, "Okay, but they're suspects in a crime. They jumped somebody at your school. They attacked basically one of your staff. We need to know who these people are. Even if we're not going to make an arrest and we go throughout the whole process and we get them counseling, something needs to start. We need their names."
Yeah.
The principal refused, called up legal counsel, said legal counsel also told me to tell you to kick rocks. I'm not going to do that. This is all on body cam. And then the officers had the wherewithal to say, "Hey, here's the supporting deposition. I want you to sign the supporting deposition stating that you are refusing to give me the names of the suspects that assaulted your staff because they're individuals that go to your school." And she signed it.
Oh, wow.
So it's
oh my god.
She wrote the deposition. I'm refusing per legal counsel, if I'm not mistaken. I'm refusing per legal counsel. At least I'm refusing to give you the names of the children, juveniles, 17, 18, who gives a shit, that assaulted one of my members of staff.
I bet you they're illegal.
So they don't care about any staff, or it's just how their reputation is all they give a shit about, because they're not protecting their own.
I bet you those 2 kids are either they're illegal immigrants, they're children of illegal immigrants, or they're gang members. One of those. Because for some reason, these school board officials love those groups of people in particular. Something like that. Or they're trans or some weird thing like that, either one. It's one of them. They're part of a protected group. Because if they were just normal, kids, they wouldn't have any problem sending them. Because, they used to do that crap, send kids to places before. But it has to be some sort of weird special group that they're, yep. That's right. That's right.
And they're not protecting the kids.
They're not protecting anybody. So now these 2 kids
part
can
of a protected group.
They've got carte blanche. Why not go assault another staff member? Why not go assault some kids? Teachers or the principal's not going to give any of my information away to the police.
Yeah, that even sends a bad message. Holy crap! And it's not just to those 2 kids either. It's to everyone in that school. They all know they're safe from everything. Jeez. Well, those kids know who's buttering their bread.
So there you go. Families that have their kids in schools, the principals are allowing juveniles that are assaulting grown adults to remain around your children with no recourse.
Mm-hmm.
If your kid's being bullied at a Buffalo public school and you're not getting the response that you think you require to address that issue, this is your red flag. You might want to get involved.
And I believe there's actually a couple of class actions right now against the Buffalo public school
system.
There's
now ads going around Facebook.
At first, when they said it wasn't a sexual assault case, I was like, oh, okay, so it's not as bad, But oh my gosh, Sexual assault, yes, sexual assault's terrible, but regular assault is terrible too. And the fact that the school reacted as the way that they did is shocking. To actually say they just won't cooperate, like, holy crap! How I don't even understand it. I don't get how you can be so cavalier about things like that.
Facebook and ads getting mailed out by law firms that are basically asking people like, hey, this is apparently a prevalent issue. Get a hold of us if you want us to take a legal suit against Buffalo schools.
And this is, I guarantee, we've talked about it, but this has got to be way more. Buffalo is a great starting point, but y'all need to rally too and figure out if this is happening in your districts and start expanding and asking for this information.
Yep.
Because
So-
this is definitely nationwide.
I did even more digging on these.
Actually, I agree with it. I've said that right from the very beginning of these cases. This is more than just Buffalo. This has to be nationwide, because cases like this just don't happen in the dark, and like culture like this doesn't happen locally. This is a culture issue. It infects everything.
Shane Cronin case, the alleged kidnapping at the magnet school with the museum.
I'm from Maine, by the way. So, like, obviously, when I'm talking about these things, like, if you know anything about the things that are current events, basically, you know that Maine has this issue, because you can tell from Janet Mills, our governor, who endorses everything, it seems like. So, yeah.
Go on.
I have written testimonies from teachers that were there that day.
Oh, interesting.
Oh my god.
Blurt out. They got a hold of me, and they told me that one, they were taken aback and disgusted when they watched our podcast, because this individual,
Because we belched, or because we were
no,
drinking?
because they were there that day.
Oh.
They had to hear that there was an alleged kidnapping.
Caesar's M.
They found out from us that there was an attempted kidnapping that day,
What
not
the fuck?
from the administration.
Oh, what?
I have the Buffalo Schools handbook and how they handle emergency situations. The Buffalo School District has 3 states of emergency. They have shelter in place, lockout, and lockdown. Shelter in place is something for like inclement weather outside. Hey, there's a tornado or winds or a flood. It's not safe to leave the building. Stay inside. Lockout is, hey, there's an external threat to the school that we're
Whitmer scares me. When they were suggesting that she might be the presidential candidate, that really scared the crap out of me.
worried may come in. We're going to lock the exterior doors to the school so nobody can get inside. Lockdown is there's an interior threat to the school. All of the teachers need to take the kids in the classrooms, lock the doors to the classrooms, and then take a roll call so we can account for every child. Going
Some
back to
would
the
call that
testimony.
foreshadowing.
Quote,
oh my gosh.
During the active intruder gaining entry into the school building through the museum doors, school staff were never instructed to go on lockdown, but only shelter in place.
Oh, well, this isn't a storm. Go on.
Certainly not a storm, especially for a grown man breaking into a school. That would be a lockdown situation where you lock the school doors.
Breaking into the school for the purpose of kidnapping 2 children.
Whether they knew that or not at the time, yes. Breaking in is an interior threat. They should have been on lockdown. Continuing the quote, I do know that the assistant principal was attacked by this man as he attempted to gain entry to the second floor hallway, which contains 3rd through 5th graders. After the police arrived, the intruder was apprehended in the museum. Nothing in regards to further safety precautions were taken or offered to the students or staff at School 59 that day. The children and staff were not released from the building, and the day continued as if nothing had happened. Parents were also not made aware of the incident until a letter went home with every student the following day. So yeah, they didn't tell the parents the day that it happened. They instead sent home a mass letter with all of the elementary school kids. So who knows if the parents even got those letters. I wish I knew what the letter said, but obviously I don't live in Buffalo, so that would be really hard for me to, get a copy. Oh wait, no, I'd have to fucking copy the letter.
Oh, good.
Oh my gosh. Okay. How perfect is it that he got a copy of that letter? That's amazing. Awesome work, guy. Fat electrician.
The letter Dear parents and caregivers, as you know, safety and the well-being of our students is a top priority on Tuesday, February 11th.
That's how he was saying they were. Wow. Man, that caught me off guard.
You know what's really funny about letters like this is you can just say whatever the fuck you want.
I guess so. Hey, do these ones have untruths in them? Keep going.
Oh, we're going to get there. On Tuesday, February 11th, we had an incident where a man entered our school through the museum without permission. In response, the school was placed in a brief shelter-in-place. So if you guys want to say that it's an untruth that you didn't go on lockdown, I have your letter from your fucking principal saying that you went into shelter-in-place, which is not the appropriate protocol.
Boo. Boo schools. Boo.
And we immediately notified the Buffalo Police, who responded within minutes and arrested the man. The school is also using this as an opportunity to evaluate and reinforce its safety protocols to help ensure that something like this doesn't happen again.
Like
District
locking the
officials
door?
and Buffalo Public School Security also met on Wednesday with the museum leadership to discuss the situation. Buffalo's Public Schools Crisis Prevention and Response Team and other support personnel have been and will continue to be available to students and teachers. As parents, you may want to talk with your child as well. If your child exhibits any indications of emotional distress, we suggest that you listen to him or her. If they need to talk, answer their questions simply, honestly, and possibly over and over again. Please feel free to contact the school with any concerns or questions you may have. Thank you for your continued support. Sincerely, Principal Mark Shoemaker.
That's ridiculous. The issue was the locking of the door. That door should have been locked. They have a door that connects the two together, the two schools. Well, the school and the museum, because they have some museum attached to the school, which is weird to begin with, but whatever. All they had to do was just lock the freaking door during school hours when there's kids inside the school. Like, lock the door. That way you keep the pedophiles out. Like, how is this difficult? How is this difficult? Contacted the museum to make sure this doesn't happen. What do you mean it doesn't happen? You just lock the dang door. Like, how do you prevent something from happening? Just lock the dang door. Okay.
So if you have questions about their concerns, they want you to contact them at the phone number 716-816-3370.
I
think I would have concerns.
Dr. Charles Drew, Science Magnet, Buffalo School, number 59. So yeah, attempted kidnapping, didn't tell any of the parents, didn't go into lockdown while there was a grown man attempting to kidnap children inside the school.
Fighting assistant principals. Breaking into more classrooms.
According to this testimony of the teacher that was there, he actually made
This is a much bigger issue than the way that he made it out. I thought, like, the first time when I heard it, I didn't know that there was fighting, like, with other teachers and stuff like that. I literally thought he tried grabbing some kids and the kids went with him and he was stopped at, like, the doors. But, like, the fact that he fought people, and I guess apparently the kids were there for it, like, holy crap, what about the two kids that were part of this incident? They must have been traumatized. The little boy and the little girl? Like, my gosh, my heart goes out to those poor kids. And then I don't know, man. I don't know. This entire thing just, it doesn't seem right. It seems like and the fact that they deleted the security footage of it just, that right there, that bothers me to no end that they deleted the security footage of that, because yes, the boy peed himself. I do remember that. The security footage being deleted is terrifying, because to me that speaks of inside cover up, you know, and I have trouble believing that somebody deleted the footage just over their job, like being like, oh yeah, well, we got to be safe and careful. Like, to me that just screams something more happened.
Into a classroom and destroyed the classroom with the teacher inside. Wasn't sure if there was kids in there or not. But regardless, that teacher who was
hold on, let's go back about a minute. Yeah.
Maker.
I just gotta.
So if you have questions about their concerns, they want you to contact them at the phone number 716-816-3370.
I think I would have concerns.
Dr. Charles Drew, Science Magnet, Buffalo School, number 59. So yeah, attempted kidnapping, didn't tell any of the parents, didn't go into lockdown while there was a grown man attempting to kidnap children inside the school.
Fighting assistant principals.
Breaking
into more classrooms.
According to this testimony of the teacher that was there, he actually made it into a classroom and destroyed the classroom with the teacher inside. Wasn't sure if there was kids in there or not, but regardless, that teacher who was in a classroom that this man broke into, opened the door because nobody told her to lock the doors because she didn't go into lockdown. Would have been an issue.
And that when they said that they called the police within minutes or something like that, that's all fucking lie too, right?
I don't know the exact response.
See, that he got into a classroom and he destroyed the classroom. I bet you there was a lot more kids that peed their pants that day than just the little boy. Because he destroyed a classroom with a teacher and he beat up a teacher, grabbed 2 kids and ran off with them. Like, holy crap.
But the fact of the matter is, everything that they can control, like, hey, go on to lockdown and lock your doors. There's a man in here trying to kidnap kids.
Yeah.
They didn't do. And then they didn't tell the parents the gravity of the situation. They're like, oh yeah, there was an incident. We had to go into shelter in place.
See, this is why resource officers need to be armed.
Mention to the parents that he assaulted a principal.
Teachers too.
Didn't do any of that shit.
That can escalate so fastly. Just if that is a shooter or a situation like that, that's how you can see how bad that will get.
Yeah.
Hey, announcing to all the administration, somebody's in doing this. Instead, a person breaks into a elementary school room and destroys the room.
There's a grown-ass man in the school who should not be here.
Yes.
Who has gained access.
Yes, that would be considered an interior
This
threat.
pisses me off
which
so
under
much.
their own criteria in their fucking manual that they got to write, they should have been on lockdown. And they didn't. Neat.
Damn.
Do you think anybody will be held accountable for that?
Well, no, not yet. It's become overwhelmingly apparent to me that the Buffalo District Attorney is not interested in actually getting people in trouble for this, and that the school board is desperately trying to protect themselves, and not all of them. There's multiple people on the school board. I've looked into every member. Half to the slight majority of the school board is actually great people that are involved for the right reasons. There's 3 or 4 people that are piles of shit on that school board.
It's almost like a fraternity of shit.
Or a sorority.
Or a sorority of shit.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I tried to dig into this, but I can't access the AKA sorority records.
Yeah, I did see that.
Allegedly, I've heard from multiple teachers and employees of Buffalo School District that the superintendent...
I picked up on what he's suggesting, which is, there's no accountability yet. And the fact that he said yet is makes me happy, because to me it sounds like they have something they're cooking up.
And multiple people on the Buffalo School Board that all vote together and are the ones dragging this out and preventing it so that she can retire are all members of the same sorority. So they're just looking out for each other and not the kids. Allegedly.
Is that the wine guzzler too? Is the wine guzzler one?
I believe so.
What do you know?
Oh,
what do you know? The superintendent and the wine guzzler working together. So the wine guzzler who flips off people that are worried about their school and says so on a Zoom meeting, well, she gets to keep her job.
And who is the DA that's completely disinterested in this, by the way?
Oh, what is his name? What the fuck is his name? That guy that got a DUI in 1984? That guy that got a DUI in 1984 for...
Mike Keene.
What was it? I believe he was driving under the influence down the wrong lane with no headlights. He then attempted to evade the police. After getting stopped, did a field sobriety test. And then, after he failed the field sobriety test, attempt to escape police custody, injuring a police officer in the process. He then
Wait, what?
He comes from from what I was able to read, he comes from a very affluent, well-connected family in the area. And he was directly asked by the news when this came out during his election if his father's status had anything to do with the fact that these felony charges for evading cops, injuring a cop, if his dad had anything to do with the fact that those cases were then pleaded down to misdemeanors. I believe he had like 90 days of probation or something and like a $250 fine. And then the courts actually sealed the records so they couldn't be pulled up against him again. But they accidentally got released during a FOIA request. So they got leaked out anyways.
No, I know that you've never said it. You've never said it, but I've heard people who have, that maybe his daddy's connections were the reason why that didn't turn out worse.
Yeah, I mean, that would kind of make sense.
Well, but that happened in the past. You shouldn't judge somebody off their past.
Wait a second. I get judged off my past all the time.
Wait.
I'm controversial. Guys, you forgot. I made funny videos on the internet. I called a kid fat one time and got in a car accident. I was not, but kind of was, on the Brady list per Channel 2. I'm the guy you shouldn't listen to, and I understand now why the news shit on me all these years for being a bad person. I've learned my lesson. I think I've grown.
Is there a single person in that binder who doesn't have I don't know what you would call it, maybe a rocky history?
Not really, no. But I think I've come up with a solution. So I don't have faith that the DA is going to do his job. The Buffalo School Board is going to try to drag this out as long as humanly possible to hoping to God everybody forgets. So my answer to this is, I've looked into it. It takes about somewhere between 85 and 110,000 votes to swing a federal election in the state of New York. So if you were a federal law enforcement agency like the FBI and you got 100,000 fucking complaints about the Buffalo school boards emailed to you, do you think maybe the federal government would get involved at that point?
Boy, I couldn't ignore that if I wanted to, if I was a member of the Federal Bureau of Investigation or Attorney General's office. It would be impossible for me to ignore that. In fact, I think I would have to look at it. Considering the volume of complaints, I would have to take that as some sort of serious event that needs an investigation.
You would be a fool not to.
It would be foolish not to, yes.
And you want to be transparent, too.
Even if you wanted to cover it up because the government doesn't like holding itself accountable, do you think that the federal level government would spin around and hold a school board and local government accountable, knowing that if they didn't, it would sway an entire federal election?
I think that could be possible. You know, the governor of New York State, Kathy Hochul, actually had a response to the investigation that's going on, well, lack of investigation that's going on in the city of Buffalo. And I'm going to have to pull it up real quickly because I don't want to be misquoted for my governor. I would hate to put words in her mouth.
But this little podcast where people burp and are foul and drink alcohol has brought these allegations to the point where the governor is making a fucking response.
Well, I apologize. It's not the governor. It's the governor's press office. So she's obviously very busy and couldn't comment on the second largest school district in the entire state. Her hometown, actually.
Really?
You know, these things happening.
Oh, my gosh.
Which she's busy. I can
my gosh.
understand. So she
Holy
would have
crap.
to have her press office make the statement of, it is our understanding that there are active investigations by law enforcement regarding certain allegations, as well as the internal review by the school district, which hasn't happened yet.
Which is a lie because they haven't even announced who's going to start the investigation. So that's not true.
And we await the results of those reviews. So if I'm understanding this correctly, it would be that Governor Kathy Hochul's office, maybe her, because I don't know if they got this to her yet. Hopefully somebody can get it to her, are aware that the ongoing abduction case is still, well, ongoing. But yet they are willing to wait for the Buffalo school systems to complete their own internal investigation. Which, Nick, that one investigation from 3 years ago, is that out yet to the public?
The shooting at McKinley High School?
Yeah.
No, that hasn't been released.
Noted.
Neither.
This is the first time I've heard of this.
School shooting? I believe the other investigation regarding the stabbing at Riverside High School, that investigation's results have also never been released.
Okay, so those investigations, although they are ongoing, even though they haven't actually started the investigation currently for that school, even though those ones are done and we've never gotten the results for it, the governor's office is going to wait on the investigation from the Buffalo School District, who's never shared anything about their investigations before, to complete before anything happens. So,
jeez.
What a hilarious non-statement.
Yeah, like really.
We are aware that some things are being looked to, and we wish them luck.
Yep.
That's essentially what it is.
shooting.
What? It was outside the school. It was like a gang thing. Like a kid ran up on the school and shot a security guard while trying to shoot another child during dismissal. So there was a lot of kids out there.
What the
fuck?
fuck?
Our department flooded the area because we thought it was going to be like a planned school shooter. It was more gang violence, but nonetheless still a shooting at the school. The security guard was wounded, and I think somebody else, I think a student, don't quote me on that, but that's what happened.
And they just said,
No.
They said they did their own investigation, and that investigation is not shared. That's what we talked about
It's
earlier.
not released to the public
because it's attorney-client privilege.
Of course.
So they have a pretty good history of not sharing
attorney-client
results of the
privilege.
investigation. Which
Always
would concern everybody.
attorney-client privilege.
So I think my solution now would be to put up the email of the FBI.
Oh.
And we'll put it in the description as well. And you can
I think
email
it would
the
also
FBI.
be like right here on the screen.
And let them know, hey, you should probably be looking at Buffalo Public Schools. And then if, I don't know, this video gets 1 million views and we can rely on 10% of you to take 30 seconds out of your day to shoot an email, and then the FBI gets 100,000 emails, which is enough to sway a federal election.
Hear that,
We
guys?
can do this cool thing where we pit the government against itself and watch it eat itself alive. Oh, and what's even funnier is Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, came out 10 days ago and took a hardline stance on protecting kids in school. So this is almost like me walking up and putting a home run ball on the tee for them to make an example out of somebody.
That was 10 days ago? Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Weird.
What happened there? Anyway, I'm going to make this simple for all of you that are listening. I don't care if you think that the other 10% are going to do it for you. You, on your phone, right now, you should probably send an email to somebody saying to look at the Buffalo Public School program and that it's an issue.
Don't swear. Don't like just spam memes.
Please
like,
don't get on there and be like, this is Epstein's Island 2.0. There's a crazy ring. There's not. We're not saying that. The school administration has harbored a culture of not valuing children's safety as the highest priority. And because of that, we think that children are continually getting put in danger they don't need to get put in.
Nick, do you think that we could have, like, I don't know, a template email that we could put up in the description?
Like if I wrote a letter that people could just,
copy
and paste and put it right into the email and send it 100,000 times? Yeah, we could do that.
It'd be a shame if that was in the description.
We're going to put that in the description, and maybe the website to do so is going to be right here. Maybe it's right fucking here.
So,
can we do anything with the?
Hold on.
Was it the change one where we do
Change.org? That's a petition. A petition?
Would that help at all? Also, if
I
we
think-
stack with it, or just the emails is the main thing right now?
I think the petition.
Hold on.
I don't want to say
I'm
no.
gonna go grab
I
it.
want to leave all options open. But at this moment, with my governor's office being aware of it and then choosing to sit back, I think that it has to be the FBI or the AG's office that is bombarded with people caring so that it is unignorable. I would also really like the
I'm going to add this
the
as a
New York
comment.
governor's office and like senators like Chuck Schumer and
we will-
Gillibrand to also be bombarded with the same email.
So could we CC?
We are
What we'll do
gonna
in the
have
description
this-
then is put those emails in for you to CC.
Copy,
add.
paste right into send to. You know what'd be really funny is if at one of the school board meetings we just had unsub live in the parking lot.
Oh my god. I wanted to go to the first one so bad. Maybe I just get somebody with a camera and I go to one of the next ones.
What are they going to do? Call the cops?
Well, if they do,
That's the catch-22. That's the fucking.
Finally, you're doing what we wanted.
Call the police.
I always wanted to get a
The
mug
cops
shot.
storm in. Let me guess, you guys are here for school other.
What was one of the most wild things during all of this?
Honestly, the craziest part for me is just like the saddest
You guys
part for me is
refresh.
just
It's
the
in
sheer
the
volume of
description
teachers that
below.
I've talked to that all said the same thing. Like, and I made sure intentionally to do it unprompted. Like, I didn't want to ask, like, hey, do you feel like the Buffalo School Board is tying your hands behind your back, preventing you to do the right thing, and you're scared of retaliation if you do the right thing? I made sure to not mention that. They all organically brought that up themselves. Like, all these teachers that I've talked to are phenomenal people that, like, genuinely really, really care about these kids and want to do the best they possibly can for them. And they all feel that the school board and its policies are preventing them from keeping those kids safe and doing the right thing. And they are all, with the exception of people that have already been retaliated against extensively.
Yep.
95% of them are all extremely terrified of being retaliated against. And I have the interviews, and we've already played one of those interviews where he says, I've seen people's... They said they've seen people's careers.
Literally anyone
by this.
Anyone
Which should never
out
be the
there
case.
that
And
wants
the goal,
to make
I think
a difference.
The goal also should be, I think we said
that's the way to do it.
Was repercussions for not addressing this should outweigh repercussions for addressing. It's like, oh, you might get fired, but the people that get fired, if you get fired for that, they're going to prison. It is making examples. If you don't
if you
report it.
obstruct,
Yes,
if you
obstruct,
if,
report.
if you're the low guy that's afraid of losing their job, and you've been in a place of fear, and you made a mistake and didn't report something, you're not the person we're upset with. We're upset with the people that put you in that position, that made you fear for your job and your livelihood, that are preventing you from doing the right thing. And because they're preventing you, it's creating this culture of fear and making you, along with others, afraid of the repercussions from your overseers or administrators. And that is why these issues aren't being handled.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because it reminds me of something that I was thinking.
I always stop it on Brandon. Sorry, Brandon. Yeah. So one of the things that you can do, you can literally go down to the description. All you have to do is just reload, or you can just do it right now and check it out, because some of you might be watching it later. Check out the description, and you will see that nice little letter that they said, and also where to put it. It's right in text, so you can just copy and paste it, and just make sure to put your name in the little box where it says where your name is. And let us all help this situation together. And yeah, like, the more voices out there doing this, the more eyes on it, the more people putting it out there, the more you can make them squirm, because I think they need to. And Kash Patel, I don't know about Kash Patel. I mean, I love the guy, but that Epstein stuff that came out recently, and that Trump assassination thing, I don't know if I trust him completely, but who knows? Anyways, you can redeem yourself, Kash, by responding to the litany of emails being sent to you. Please do. And if you're against us, well, I'm so sorry, Kash. You'll find out later.
When you made a post the other day, where they're trying to basically just stick it to this one guy, the guy with the kidnapping charge.
Yeah.
They're just trying to just stick everything to him and, like, see, we did something about it. And it's like, no. See, this is like the, give a man a fish, feed him for a day, teach a man to fish kind of situation.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's getting charges. That's fucking great.
You're treating the symptom, not the cause.
Exactly.
We want to treat the cause.
If the people responsible for the culture that is built in Buffalo public school systems don't get some sort of accountability, this is all for nothing.
100%.
What's next on this?
Well, next, I sit back and laugh as the FBI launches an investigation into the Buffalo School Board and the district attorney of Erie County.
Wouldn't that be great?
And we also get to watch the
a
civil
week.
suit go on. Wouldn't it
be great? In a week, we find out the FBI is investigating it, and Buffalo School District is like, they all have to answer to the FBI, and yeah. I mean, it would be great, but it would be even better if it was a national, like, they opened up the books to the national issues and took care of the stuff in general. But I'll take the Buffalo District as being a first step on this journey of taking over the rest of the government and getting rid of all these horrible people inside school boards and making our schools safer for little kids.
So yes, but the
class action
lawsuit with all these people that have had their children wronged.
Yep.
Go against the Buffalo City Schools.
And then I sit back and I watch and I wait.
I'm looking
as these
for-
people, the school board members have elections coming up in 2 months. So
We'll be involved.
if you guys don't unf this, I'm going to get involved in that. And then the
I think all of us are also available to testify.
He did this for free. I think we can get involved now.
I think we might have.
I have it in my calendar in 2028. The district county attorney of Erie County also goes up for re-election. I'm going to get involved in that election too if he doesn't unfuck himself. And just so you guys understand, if you haven't grasped what I mean by that,
This is so awesome.
We've been involved in elections before. Brandon, how did that one election that we were involved in go? That federal congressional election?
Running against an incumbent, who I believe incumbents have a 93% re-election rate in this country.
And how much money did he have over?
I think it was about 10 to 1.
10 to 1?
Spent about 10 to 1. Took him to a runoff, which was very expensive. I think he budgeted $3 million for his election. He had to spend 13.
Oh, interesting.
And he barely snuck by with 400 votes in a runoff election that he was not financially prepared for.
Huh.
So
we didn't even get to say that kid was putting children in danger.
Or failed to put children in a better position than when they started.
So, I mean, whatever. We're going to give your opponent hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars of free good press, and we're going to give you hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in free bad press. And I got enough money. I'll buy billboards all over Buffalo to shit all over.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
funny story.
That might have already started. Not from me, but from people in the community who want to let you know how they feel.
by somebody who lives in Buffalo.
By somebody who lives in Buffalo.
Dude, those DMs are wild. It costs more, but it's worth it. And these are just.
There are random people that are doing God's work in the city of Buffalo by putting up billboards. Can't wait to see you in June.
God, we got the orbital autism space laser on this fucking city.
Yes. It's like rods of God. There's just puzzle pieces
clicking into place.
Of titanium.
Is there any legal reason that I couldn't sell yard signs pertaining to this incident?
No.
On Bunker just for cost
As
to
a
break even on
private
them?
citizen, I don't think there is.
Oh. I'm going to look into getting yard signs for the city of Buffalo.
Oh my gosh.
Bunker branding.
We could probably, maybe do
I'll
that.
sell them at cost. I don't need to make any money off that.
Yeah.
I'll do that for the fun.
Dude, what should those yard signs say? If only the comments section could help us out.
Only
with
the card. Slogans and designs, people. I want to see them.
We're going to do one of the name things.
Don't get drenched in the bullshit.
Don't be a cog.
Don't be a cog. Don't be a
Oh,
cog.
this is great. Oh.
Buffalo School Board for unemployment.
Classifieds.
And anything for you, Rich, on any final closing
That's
statements
great.
on what you want to see or done or just personal?
I think that if you've watched it this far, we've laid out a compact and easy plan for you. There is a cut and pasta for you to email exactly who you need to email. We're even telling you who to email. That is the smallest, easiest thing you could do.
Yep.
And you can do it literally as we're sitting here bullshitting with one another.
That's right. That's right. Listen to the man.
Everything other than that, on top of that, is whipped cream and a cherry on top of a sundae. I look forward to the signs. Can't wait to see what you degenerates write down in the comments for potential signs. I bet you the highest voted one is going to be despicable, and I love it.
And by the way, so just in case anyone out there is wondering what this is, I am going to be clipping this and posting this as well. And it's just going to be that clip right there of him talking, and it's going to be me talking and explaining this. I will clip that, and I'm going to repost it. And I'm going to repost it everywhere. It's going to be on Rumble. It's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be on X. It's going to be on Facebook. It's going to be everywhere. Everywhere. All right? And you can look at the description of that video. And inside the description, you will find that form. And all you have to do is copy and paste it and then mail it out. That's right. Mail it out. And boom. It's done. You finish your email. You've helped me. You've helped them. You've helped Buffalo. you've helped the kids. Do it. Do it now. Stop this. Stop this. And do it now. All right. Now we can continue with the video because our clip's already made.
Continue your fantastic use of social media in the bullying of journalists.
Thank you for bringing that up.
You're welcome. And the checks and balances that you provide to local news media when they decide not to cover something or to potentially skew what the story should be about. That is very appreciative. And also, love reading the comments whenever you do that in those spaces as well.
To quote the donut operator, bully journalists.
Yeah, absolutely. They're not people.
Except for Ben.
Ben
and Nate Benson.
We'll have to discuss something and figure out something for our own news for Pepperbox.
Oh, I mean, if this goes well, we might own channel 2, so. I'm waiting for that apology channel. That better be the fucking headline.
Oh, yeah. If you think we're kidding, we're fucking not.
WGRZ, I've already contacted a defamation lawyer in New York.
Oh, you did? Okay, good.
I could find.
That's right.
So, headline, WGRZ sincerely apologizes to senior Buffalo SVU detective Richard High. I want a full article about how you guys f*** this up.
I promise you that will be much less expensive.
I really want to change your name and own you to Buffalo WGRZ. and our shirts are going to say come.
With you burping.
We're gonna make you come watch our channels. That's my goal.
Our lawyers are going to do foul things to you.
Yes, absolutely foul. Which, by the way, is a shirt now.
Is it really?
On the unsub channel. It is. We made a shirt that says absolutely foul because it was such a good headline. We couldn't just, leave it away. So we've got
just played it.
The bad bitch stuff. We've got the new
good.
absolutely foul shirt for unsub.
And all of the money from that will go toward
my legal funds.
Make this fun.
Yeah, to making this fun. All the money going to that is just going to be used in the most pivotal way.
If we get arrested for this somehow, the mug shots are going to be fucking hard. I like it.
If our mug shots can be on a mug.
I want the Johnny Cash t-shirt.
Yeah.
The mug shot.
When I got arrested, I should have got a mug shot. I really missed out.
Senior SVU detective admits to being arrested.
I know, that's the entire article that said. FOIA request.
You're not a real man if you haven't been arrested.
All right.
What was that for?
Oh, I got in a fight with a drug dealer.
Oh, really? No shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was off duty. And me and my buddy called 911.
Check to see if there's more stuff.
Love you. This level of research.
Podcast today, I was joined by.
Nope. All right. So, with that being said, that will be the end of this podcast or whatever it is, live stream, whatever it is. But yeah. Seriously, guys, though, like, enough joking aside, this is a really serious thing, and please fill out that form that I have below. Support, their channel, the Unsub Podcast. Support Angry Cops and apparently Fat Electrician. Support him too. I don't care if, you do anything else with this. Share that video. Don't share this necessarily. I did this so that you people could see it. The Unsub Podcast, you can just search it online. It's easy to find. Share that video with them. And please, we need to do something about this. I don't know how many times I have to say this, but our kids are our future. And if they're messed up from just bad events happening and they feel like there's no security, then there's nothing that you can do. That generation is going to be screwed up. As it is, we have screwed up generation with millennials, get even more screwed up generation with Gen Z and Gen Alpha. I don't even know, because the crap that they've been through. The fact that you guys went through the COVID years, I feel horrible for you guys, because that missing all those years of schooling and having that forced down your throat to be afraid of things that shouldn't really have ever been told to be afraid of. It's horrible. And this is a gaming channel. Like, I play video games. I'm a VTuber, you know. I'm just some like crazy idiot online. I give writing tips sometimes, you know. But like, I don't do this in particular. Like, this isn't my forte, you know. But like, when I saw it the first time, it struck such a chord with me. I was so angry. I was very angry about what I had heard that I had to share it and with as many people as possible. And the best way I knew how to do that was through this thing, these videos. You guys are amazing. I've received a lot of comments, a lot of people reaching out to me after, especially on my Discord and stuff like that. And you guys are really amazing. And I just wanted to say that. And yeah, I would normally say like, subscribe, favorite, blah, 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 blah. But I'm not going to say that this time. Go over to Unsub Podcast and subscribe to them. And find Angry Cops online and subscribe to him. And like their stuff. They're the real heroes that have brought this to the light. And it needs to be brought to the light. And if you've been here this entire time, thank you for watching. And it means a lot to me. And I know it means a lot to them. With that being said, God bless. And yeah, have a wonderful Sunday. Or at least the rest of it, of whatever you have left. And have a wonderful tomorrow, too. All right. I will see you tomorrow. And we'll be doing something else. I'm not sure what, but we'll be doing it. It'll be something. And it probably won't be this unless something more comes out and someone tells me about it. All right. Well, I'll catch you guys later. See ya.